everyone, and happy Friday. This video is going to be all about this one and basically her cancer story. I was not anticipating creating a video for her on this subject, but like I said with Kiara's video, I wouldn't have made it if my animals weren't such a big part of my life and also weren't such a big part of my channel, especially this one. She's usually in almost every video. A little bit of background on Minnie. We got Minnie in South Korea. She was maybe a month old. She may have been younger. I don't know. She really was a very, very healthy cat, minus her weight gain. I think about 2 years ago is when she started having dental issues, and so she's had 2 teeth removed and she has a chipped tooth. About 2 years ago, I noticed that she would sometimes scratch above her, you think I would know, her right eye, but I didn't think too much of it. It just began as her scratching above her right eye, causing some hair loss, and I thought it was just her just having a lot of itchiness above her right eye. I didn't think too much of it. It then progressed into her beginning to open it up, but again, I just pushed it off as just her being very itchy, and I've had a cat in the past who was allergic to fleas, and so I thought it was maybe like a similar situation. I began to worry when it became more of a constant thing rather than every now and then. About 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I finally took her in after it just became something that did really seem to bother her, and at one point she got it open so much that blood was going in her eye. Our veterinarian gave her a shot of antibiotics because it was infected, and she was going to run some tests. This is when Minnie began wearing an e-collar. So 6 months ago she started wearing an e-collar, and she actually just recently graduated out of it maybe about a week ago. So for like half a year she had an e-collar on. We found out about a week later that Minnie had cancer. This was during a very difficult and very stressful time. The exact day that Minnie was diagnosed with cancer, one of my parakeets, Scuttle, died. But anyways, back to Fatty Minnie. We ended up taking her to a cancer center. Doctor, veterinarian, whatever, determined that it was a mast cell tumor. Thankfully, we caught it in the first stages, which was good that we caught it because with Kiara, we found out when she was in stage 4 with her cancer. So I knew that it was really good that we caught it, but that still brought on, how are we going to treat her? So we had 2 options. Just as a side note, the cancer center that we take Minnie and now Kiara to, they try. They try. And I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think there's a lack of communication with the cancer center that we are bringing my kitties to. We're not working with the same people that at first diagnosed Kiara. One of the options was to remove that eye, and the other one was laser surgery on the tumor itself. It seemed like the doctor was more confident in the laser surgery being more successful, and I also didn't want Minnie to lose an eye. She's already clumsy enough as it is, so I didn't want her to lose an eye. It had nothing to do with her being disfigured or whatever like that. I could care less. She's now disfigured, so she's now missing a portion of her eyelid. So I went with the laser treatment. The next day after the surgery, I was preparing all of Minnie's medication, which I believe was like 4 different medications that she had to be given. I was alone in the house. My mom and her husband were out camping, and I stayed home because Minnie needed a surgery and she was gonna need supervision constantly, and treatment and medication. So I stayed home. One of her medications she needed done orally. Minnie does not do well with medications. She just does not. She puts up a fight. She puts up a real good fight, and I was having difficulties because she also had a cone on. So trying to get the syringe to her mouth without her getting out of my grasp with the cone on, that is causing it harder to get to her mouth. I took her cone off. This was my fault. It's totally my fault. This is totally my fault. I will admit that. I hated myself for this for the longest time. I'm still very frustrated on myself with this because she would have recovered sooner. if I wouldn't have done this. But you live, you learn. She's good now. I took the cone off, got her medicine ready. She was still in my arm, and she managed to get it out of my arm, and she went underneath my desk and instantly scratched at her stitches and opened up her surgical site. To say that I freaked out because there was blood everywhere. Basically, we ended up taking her to the emergency center that is connected to the cancer center, because the cancer center is not open on weekends. And basically, they cleaned her up. I assume that they couldn't stitch her back up because it was just open too long and it would have caused infection. She would have healed so much faster if it was stitched up. Now started her recovery process, which she at first had, I think, around 4 medications that she needed to be given. Needed the liquid antibiotics. Oh, and side note, this is just one of the examples of the cancer center not doing good communication. They accidentally wrote on the label to give her, I forget how much it was, but just too much of the antibiotics, and it was knocking her out basically for all the entire day. And I thought it was just because my cat was in pain, but they ended up telling us on the label to give her this amount when it was not supposed to be that amount for my cat. We later found out about 5 days later, when my mom was realizing how much I was giving her, because my mom used to be a vet tech. I know nothing about how much a cat should be getting and stuff like that. So I was just following the instructions on the label, and my mom instantly saw it and was like, that's not right. And she called the cancer center, and they're like, oh, our mistake. It's supposed to be this. That's just one of the things that happened with this place. But anyways, she needed the antibiotics, eye drops, steroids to rub into the fleshy part of her ear and the inside of her ear. And then she needed a liquid eye gel thing, which I think I was only able to successfully get it in her eye 3 times. I didn't try too much with that one. The gel at first was coming out in a straight line, so it was easy to get it in her eye, but it later just ended up starting to curve on the thing. And mind you, it's the tip of it. If a cat or a dog were to poke themselves in the eye with it, that would really hurt. And Minnie did not stay still at all for that whole process. She did at first do very well with her medications, but the more she kept getting medications each day, she's like, I've had enough of this. I don't want it anymore. And so it was very difficult to keep her still while giving her a gel that was not properly going in her eye. And I didn't want to stress her out by stabbing her in the eye so many times with it or whatever, and still not being able to successfully get it in her eye. She was in a lot of pain her first month. Could not look at her without wanting to cry. And I felt genuinely so sorry for her. There were many ups and downs during her recovery. You just want to tell your baby, you're in recovery, you're going to have the cone off soon, because my cat, she was so depressed with that cone on. There was also a time where obviously her eyelid's gonna scab over and attempt to heal, and my mom and I, we had to clean her up like every other day, because, you know, pus was constantly coming out of her eye and we couldn't let her get dirty. I mean, she was dirty. She looks very clean now to what she was before. She was given 3 baths during her recovery. One time we were cleaning her, and when we did clean her cone and stuff, we would also clean around her eye where the discharge would collect. And basically, when I was cleaning her eye, I think I pushed too hard or something, and her scab literally just kind of hanged there, and we had to take her in to get it removed, which is why she is now missing a portion of her eyelid, but it's just, she looks slightly off because of it. Eyelids help keep in moisture, and that eye no longer is able to keep in moisture because that part of the eyelid is gone. So she needs drops twice a day now. Where is she now, besides her not having a portion of her eyelid and needing eye drops? I am very, very, very happy to say that Minnie is currently in remission. So she's kicking cancer's booty, and I'm so stinking proud of her. She will go back in to the cancer center in 3 months, and then if she is still doing good, then it will be 6 months, and it'll be every year. She still needs eye drops twice a day, and she needs the steroid thing that I mentioned earlier that she gets rubbed into her ear. She needs that every day as well. I don't know if this one is going to be as informative as Kiara's, because it really just did kind of happen. It didn't really just happen, but it kind of is just now starting to die down. I think honestly my same tips from Kiara's video still applies here. Try not to change medications too often and stuff like that. Oh, also don't take the cone off. But I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. Thank you for tuning in and caring about Kiara and Minnie. I'm glad that Kiara's video has done so well with helping others, and I'm very happy that I made that video, and I hope this one helps in some way as well. I will see you guys next Friday. Have a lovely Friday. How do I usually end my videos? I will see you guys. I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye-bye. Ah! We're good.